was waiting for you.
Got it. Hi guys, welcome back to Holy Chit Chat. Did it again. You want me to start that over?
Yes, I do.
Got it. Hey guys, welcome back to Holy Chit Chat. I'm Sabrina, and this is
Deidre.
And we are in the book of Matthew, and we just finished up chapter 1.
Yes.
On genealogy.
Yep, we did.
So we are going to go into
chapter 2. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so in chapter 2, we're talking about the visit of the Magi. So those 3 little guys that you see in front of like a nativity scene with their little gifts of things.
Could be the wise men, the 3 wise men.
Yeah. These
They're
3
different.
guys.
These 3 guys.
Yeah. So anyway.
They're kind of important, right?
You know, why though?
Good question.
I know. Why are they important? So anyway, so let me bring you up to speed here as to what's happening. So now after Jesus, this is chapter 2. Now after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, Herod, Magi from the east arrived in Jerusalem saying, "Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star in the east and have come to worship him." When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled. I don't think he was troubled. He was a whole lot more than troubled.
Oh, he was a lot more.
And all Jerusalem with him. And all Jerusalem with him.
A lot.
Anyway, gathering together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They said to him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for this is what has been written by the prophet. And you, Bethlehem, land of Judah, are by no means least among the leaders of Judah, for out of you shall come forth a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel." That's a chunk right there.
That's a lot. That was the first 6 verses.
It was the first 6 verses.
Chapter 2.
Yes. This is true. This is true. So I thought that was interesting, obviously, because I made note of it. Because I was like,
that was.
Whoa. That about the gathering together all the chief priests and scribes, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. So the chief priests and the scribes know prophecy.
Yes.
Were they looking for him?
Did they think,
were they watching the stars?
I think the Magi were.
And who were the Magi? We'll have to get back with you on that.
Yeah, we will.
Only because I think we could go down a very long
rabbit trail
about the Magi themselves, which we'll get to at some point. We might talk about it, but for right now, we're going to kind of pass over the Magi, much to the sadness of our listeners. But I think that that's interesting that they're asking that where is the King of the Jews? And so a little bit about the Magi. We know that they're coming from someplace not in Israel.
Yes.
Right? They're coming from somewhere. But yet they know about him. So how would they know about him?
Are the Magi Jewish?
I don't know. That's a very good question. So this is why I feel like we need to probably dive in a little bit more as to who the Magi are, and we'll get back with you on that.
We will. Also, if you're just joining us and didn't watch our crazy first little episode.
It was crazy.
Feel free to give us your input, comment, let us know. We have questions. We're going to have questions. We don't have all the answers. Yeah. We're just chit-chatting.
And again, which is part of the whole Holy Chit Chat.
It is.
Is that this is a way for us to be able to look at Scripture together and to dive in a little deeper and to ask questions and to notice things that we may not necessarily notice that would give more life to what it is that we're reading.
Yes.
Not that it needs more life, but just, being able to look at it with slightly different viewpoints on that.
Yes.
So we've got this Herod the king.
Crazy king.
Bad guy.
Real bad guy.
Real bad guy.
Our villain of the story.
Nuts. He was a crazy man.
Paranoid.
Yeah, so anyway, so they come. So I think that this is, it's like, so they come to him and they say, "Hey, where is he who's been born King of the Jews?" Well, if Herod is king, I'm thinking he's like, "What are you talking about?
I'm king. No one's taking my place."
Right? And he's been known to kill people for that reason. He's been known to kill his own family over this. So anyway, so we find out that that the Messiah is to be born in Bethlehem of Judea. And then we have Herod secretly called the Magi and determined from them the exact time the star appeared. The exact time.
Because he's going to go on a hunt, isn't he?
And then he says, hey, you guys, go and search carefully for the child. And when you have found him, report to me so that I too may come and worship him. I don't think so. Which of course we know, but if you're just reading scripture, you would be like,
spoiler alert, sorry.
So anyway, so they went on their way, right? And this is starting in verse 9. After hearing the king, they went their way, and the star which they had seen in the east went on before them until it came and stood over the place where the child was. So not only are they following the star, and I guess I'm just like looking at it, it's like it went on before them until it came. So they just kept following this star.
Mm-hmm.
Was the star moving? I know it doesn't. I mean, I don't know that the star is moving, but it kind of makes it sound like the star is moving, right? Because I mean, have you ever been like walking and like you see the moon, you know, and sometimes it feels like the moon is moving with you, but it's still right where it is because it's just big. Anyway, that's just my thinking on it. When they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. Which I mean, it's just kind of fun. It's like when they saw the star.
But also, were they like jumping up and down and
celebrating? I mean, like, because they had been traveling a long time. Again, back to that movie called The Nativity. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Although skip over the part about, well, which we'll cover in just a minute when you're watching it with your kids, because it's a little bit scary. But it's like these guys are like astrologers and they're looking at these stars and they're doing this kind of thing. And my thinking is that at some point, and maybe perhaps because the Jews had been down in other areas of the world, right, that they were aware of these things.
Okay.
You know, through whatever influence they had been living in, I guess is how I put it. So were they Jews? Were they believers?
Yeah.
Were they converts? I don't know. I love it. We're like, were they? I don't know.
I don't know.
So when they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy, which I think is so much fun because it's just like they've been traveling, they've been looking, they had to go talk to the crazy king, and they're like, oh, there it is. And after coming in,
tons of them looking, right? So it's just these three. Like, isn't all like there's. He calls in multiple people to go look, right? He calls them in,
but I don't know that
they all go.
Yeah, I think it's just the Magi that are going. Okay. I don't think it's everyone that's going. I think he just called in those people to say, tell me about this. Almost kind of like in confirmation of what the Magi are looking for. The prophecy. Right, they would know the Torah. So they saw and they were, after coming into the house, which I think is also kind of funny because it's not exactly a house, or is it? Because many, many times people think that the Magi showed up when Jesus was in a stable. No. So he would have been a bit older, and so they would have been in a home as opposed to in the manger.
Okay.
I know, which is kind of like, I don't want to be like a joy killer for people. You know, because when you see the nativity,
it's a newborn baby.
I know it's a baby, and then
it's like she
they're
just
all there. They're just like, and there they are, which I always thought was a little weird that they would show up right then, because be like, you don't go visit a mom exactly at the time that she gave birth. You wait a little bit.
My family. No, I'm just kidding.
So after coming to the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they fell to the ground and worshipped him.
Back to what we were saying on the last one.
Yeah.
How do you recognize holiness and things like that? Was there something that they knew that this was Jesus? That this was... Like, how did they know? I get the star, but like, was there, how we have talked about even like the angel coming, is there a light? Is there something coming off of him to know that this is...
How many signs pointed to the fact that this was Jesus?
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting
for them too, because they fell down to their knees to worship him.
Right. So they knew this was God.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's really interesting. That's just for, I mean, if you're looking for a star because you know that the star is significant because of being the king of the Jews.
And you're going to tell me there's only one baby that's been born in that area of a son in that, because the star's not, it's the star over there being like, this particular house right here.
Plus, not only that too, but when they're saying, where is this who has been called king of the Jews? I mean, if you stop and think about it, I mean, just because somebody is the king of the Jews doesn't mean that it's God incarnate. You know, Herod was the king.
Yeah.
He was not God by any means. So it does make me think, but I'm thinking if you've been following a star and the star rests over the house, there must be a God something. Thing that helps you to just know. Have you ever had those moments like where, let me think, like where you've read a scripture and you've read it more than once? Maybe you've read it or heard it like so many times being in church. But then there's the one time that you read a scripture and you're like, oh, that's what that is. I wonder if this is kind of one of those things. Maybe. Because I think that's the work of the Holy Spirit in your life, to be able to kind of give you fresh eyes for how to see scripture. Very cool. Anyway, after coming to the house, they fell down to the ground and worshipped him, then opening their treasures. I wonder how long they worshipped him for. I wonder if Mary said, please don't. Please,
stand up.
You know, I wonder if Jesus was old enough to realize what was going on.
Yeah.
And was he just kind of like, okay, these guys have it.
Yep.
Or was he like, I don't know what's going on? I mean, because he's still a child, but he's God.
But I think of my kids who are like, I see like my girls being like, what? You know, thinking of Remy, the youngest, being like, hi.
I know, I love it. Okay, so
but then if he was a little older, they're like, ooh, presents.
Right.
Which is
but these are not necessarily the kind of presents the child is going to say, okay, that's really cool. So opening their treasures, they presented him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Which makes me, okay, so did they present gold, frankincense, and myrrh because that would be an appropriate gift from the country in which they were coming from? Was it because it's fit for a king? Was it because of the fact that in the same way that they were looking for the star, that they had other influence in their lives saying these are the kind of gifts you should bring? I just wonder if these were holy men.
Which is what I think we've been questioning this whole time too.
Right. So, and having been warned by God in a dream not to return to Herod, the evil king.
The evil king. So also, did you think before that dream? See, this is what, I guess they didn't know what Herod was going to do, right? Because he told him he wanted to worship them. So did the Magi believe that too?
Real quick.
Oh, the man behind the camera speaks.
On the 3 specific gifts, the idea, I think, was that the gold represented the kingship, frankincense, the role as priest, and then the myrrh, which was used for embalming for his death and sacrifice.
For burial. Yeah.
So that would tend to then being, I don't know if that would even be considered.
So then would that be because they're looking at him as king? That it would be a gift for a king? Would you give a king gold, frankincense, and would you give him something already for them embalming? I just think it's a very interesting.
I don't think they're necessarily logical gifts to have been given specifically. Gold and frankincense, you can kind of make sense of.
Right, but the myrrh is a different kind of a thing.
But I think myrrh was also used in the making of the oils that were being used in the temple and stuff. So I mean, it must have had other uses as well. But I think that was the main symbolism. But I mean, if they're using certain oils in there to burn and stuff like that, then it's one more thing, the pleasing aroma to the Lord.
Yeah, that's good stuff. But again, it makes me still wonder. It's like, how would they know that that's what they should bring?
I don't know.
So.
And also they have this dream that's coming up, or like they're going to come and tell them not to go back to Herod. Because we know the story, I have to stop and think, like, Herod told them to come and find Jesus because he wanted to worship him. So I'm assuming the Magi have no idea what this evil man's plan is, right?
I would think so. I would think so. And not only that too, but it kind of makes sense if you're going into an area and you're looking for someone who's supposed to be a king, that you would go to the ruler and be like, "Where's the king?" Because wouldn't you think that if a king was going to be born, that the king who is currently the king
wouldn't want anything like
that it would be their own. Right? Yeah. I mean, because it's going to pass down, you know?
We've seen movies.
Yeah.
But then, so when they went, Magi went.
Right. They're going in good faith, going to find this child.
So I'm curious to know where they're going, because you have to stop to think, like, did they have a little bit of knowing of what Herod was going to do, and then saw him, and that faith in him changed everything, and then the angel came?
I don't know. Maybe.
See, it gets us thinking, right?
I know it does. Okay, so now when they had gone, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, so here Joseph is with another angel. It's like, hey.
Might be getting a little comfortable with them being like, hey.
Tell me what you need to
right?
do.
Hey,
says,
friend.
Get up, take the child and his mother and flee to Egypt and remain there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to destroy him.
Remember, we even brought up on the Egypt. You're going back to Egypt.
Yes.
How long has that been? I know we had questioned that. How long from when they first fled from Egypt, and now they're going to flee back?
That they're going back. Which I think is, I mean, it's like, how long has it been? Joseph would have been aware of the fact that his people left Egypt, that they were rescued out of Egypt.
Rescued
out of Egypt.
And now this angel's
the rescuer.
like, right? Now this angel's coming back and being like, for one, he was like, hey, you're going to stay with Mary. It's the Holy Spirit. It's fine. Things are good. She's pregnant. And he's like, got it. And then he comes again and is like, hey, remember Egypt where your people fled to be rescued? I'm going to need you to go back there.
Well, and Egypt had been salvation before for Joseph and his family during the famine.
Yeah.
And that's why they were there to begin with. So it's salvation, and a couple of times once before the rescue.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing that it's like Egypt, but even still though, it still makes me think, okay, what did Joseph think about it? You know, was Joseph like, seriously, you want us to go to Egypt again?
But this also shows his faith, because what does he do?
He goes to Egypt. He goes to Egypt.
He goes.
And again, it's like, get up, take the child and his mother and flee to Egypt. That does not sound like you can just putz around.
No, you need
it's like,
to
get up and go. I mean, so
how
that
far
would think,
that
so
was
that would be too. It's like, plus not only that too, but just the I don't know, the anxiety that would produce. You know, get up now and go. But again, if you have faith, if they have faith because they've seen God at work in all of these different things, are they at peace with it?
I think they're still human.
I would think so too. I would too.
So they would, you know.
All right. So Joseph, so get this. Okay. So now, what is it like for you when you wake up in the middle of the night?
It's a panic. It's like, oh.
Have you ever had well, I'm sure, like where stuff happens, like all of a sudden in the middle of the night, and you have to get up and go.
Well, that was at that time I called you. It was right before our study started, right?
Yeah.
And everything was falling apart that first visit.
Yes.
But I was away at the convention.
Yes.
And had that dream that you were calling me. And it was a full panic. And I wake up and my mother's like in the bed next to me is like, are you okay? And I'm like, oh, it was a dream. Teacher said, like, we're good. Bible study is not being like, you know. But yes, I mean, I've even had it I've had dreams too of being like, nope, that wasn't, like
enough to make you do that. Yeah. So it's like, so the angel appears to Joseph in a dream. So Joseph is dreaming. Okay. To me, this seems like a bad dream, but so you wake up in this like fright and you gotta go. Right. So Joseph got up and took the child and his mother while it was still night and left for Egypt.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know about you, but I've had times where I've had to like get up in the middle of the night for whatever reason. Maybe it's to like catch a really early flight, right? And I'm just not myself.
No.
So I mean, it's like you get this like groggy type of thing. I mean, I'm just thinking how exhausting that must have been. But at the same time, was the adrenaline such?
But also, could you imagine Mary? Joseph's like, hey, we gotta go. Like, what? Like, wake up, get up, let's go.
Well, I have to take these things. I have to do this.
Yeah. Why do we need to leave in the middle of the night? Can't we just wait till the morning? Like, I just put the baby down.
Like, right, exactly.
Just put the baby down.
For the third time.
Right? No.
It's just interesting. I mean, it's just, again, it's like when you stop and you think about what this must have been like, it just makes it.
Or the fact that Mary's angels have appeared to Mary, and she's got, their faith is so strong, and she's like, okay, got it. He showed up. Cool, let's go. I couldn't. I'd be like, if my husband woke me up in the middle of the night, we got to go. For one, I'd be like, are you awake? Are you asleep? What is going on? Like, and be like, I would question probably every second of him, and he would probably be like, woman, get up. And I'd be like, what are we doing? Why? But I couldn't imagine being Mary there being like, let's go.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know, me too. It's just kind of,
like, go back to sleep. We'll go in the morning.
So he, in verse 15, he remained there until the death of Herod. This was to fulfill what the Lord had, what had been spoken by the Lord through the prophet, out of Egypt I called my son. So at some point while we're doing the study of Matthew, we will go back and look at how many prophecies are talked about having been fulfilled. Because
we're on chapter 2, and it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many different prophecies that are fulfilled. And again, just the fact that Herod would be as much of a nutcase as he is,
that man,
that to stay there until the death of Herod.
How long was that?
I don't know. I want to say, let me check the Google Nader just a minute. How long were they in Egypt? How long was Joseph?
Man behind the computer.
Well, and then not only that too, but
according to Google, they were there for just 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Because I think it says that he grew up primarily in Nazareth.
Right. So it wouldn't have been very long because of the fact that he would have to have come back and done that. Good point. Okay, so, but still very interesting. So they're having to live there in a sense in a foreign country. They're young people. They've moved to Egypt.
And it's just the 3 of them, right?
It's just the 3 of them that we're aware of. We don't know if there's been any other children at this point, but...
Or that they knew family.
Or that they had family, right. That they had any of that. So they go to Egypt. So then, this is where it gets crazy.
Oh, goodness, yes.
So, and I'm going to just read it. So, verse 16. Then when Herod saw that he had been tricked by the Magi, he became very enraged, and sent and slew all the male children who were in Bethlehem and all its vicinity from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had determined from the Magi.
Could you imagine what the Magi felt that they told him, hey, it's for this time, like this is the time frame, and then realize Herod goes and is like, okay, well then I'm going to kill any male from this age because this is the time frame that Jesus was born.
I don't know how, but it's like, I know that I've read over that in the past, like where I've just been like read it and then he did this and this and this. But I don't know if it's because of having my own children and having grandchildren, maybe it's more so the grandchildren at this point, and realizing how old those children were, just how horrible that would be. Because you know that it wasn't just a kind go in. I mean, it's like, how could you even do that? It's like, that in of itself
You're ripping
just
these
shows
children
how
away from this
nuts people are.
100%.
You know, how nuts Herod is. And then, too, I think about the PTSD that there would have been from that. At least in my opinion, there would be for families.
I don't want to have another child. What if I have another man,
and not only
another
that, too,
boy?
but for like older siblings.
100%.
I mean, it's just like so many people were affected by that. And I know you and I talked about this the other day, but I don't know, maybe it was last Christmas that I was thinking this, that were any of these people relatives to Mary, Joseph, and or Jesus.
Like some of his cousins and things.
Because would you be, so we're going to kind of travel with me here for just a minute. So fast forward, Jesus is on the cross, and he is dying for the sins of the world.
Spoiler your child alert if you didn't know.
Yeah, your child has been one of those children that has been killed because Herod, a nutcase, said this is the way to take care of this.
And now he's going and being killed.
But do you think to yourself, if you're God, could you not have done anything to save these children?
Oh, yeah.
You know, did anybody have bad feelings about that? Like, did people know that because of who Jesus, like, literally, did people know that because of who Jesus is, that their child was murdered by Herod? Yeah. Because how would that mess with you?
I mean, I've questioned things before and being like, well, why did you take this person and not this person? And that takes you down a dark path. And
yeah, it does.
I'm glad that I've gotten away from that. But there's a purpose.
Yeah. So I just think, I don't know, I just stop and think about that.
Not saying that it's a good, like, but.
So then it goes on to say, then what had been spoken through Jeremiah the prophet was fulfilled. Another fulfillment. Yep. A voice was heard in Ramah, weeping in great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and she refused to be comforted because they were no more. It's like, I think that losing a child, I know that I've heard people talk about that losing a child is one of the most difficult things to experience.
I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah. So, side story. So this past weekend, I had the privilege of having a woman who's a faithful woman share with me about her two sons and about how they died within 6 months of each other. And at one point, so her husband had passed away. It was her and then her two sons. And at one point, she was praying. She was telling me this, that she was praying, and she asked God that she would prefer to be taken first, right? Because nobody wants to. It's like you just don't want to experience that. It's just, I don't know. It's just different, I think.
And also,
but then,
who does she have?
Right. But then she realized that if she was taken first, then there would not be people to take care of her sons. Boys. And I was like, wow, it's like, I don't know. It's like, that's a grief that I don't know that, and I pray never to have to 100%. Experience it, right? But I just think to be able to say, that she then said that because God didn't take her first, then it must have been because of the fact that he felt like this was the better way to be.
You got it, and it's hard to accept things like that, and I found that over the years. And like I said, I've struggled with that, just with my own grandmother, and things like that. But like, it's when you accept that that's just it. It's in his hands. Like, there is a reason. These are things. And I'm glad that she can even just see that, like, who would take care of the boys, because they had health issues, which is what was in this situation.
Right.
But it's still not easy.
No. And it makes me wonder too. I always wonder, it's like, how do people, like, if you don't have faith in Jesus,
I struggle with that at this point in my life.
Having faith in Jesus?
No, that people don't have faith in Jesus. Sorry, no. Like, there are times that I have conversations with my husband, and he's just like, honey, it's your faith. You've got to understand. You've got faith. You can't put, like, it's not going to make sense. These people who don't have faith. It's your faith is why you are.
Why you're the way that you are.
That you are.
Right. It's actually true. And the way that you can think the way that you think. So, but it always makes me wonder, because I can't imagine going through something difficult and not having faith or not having hope.
It's dark.
Yeah, it is dark. It's very dark.
And you might not realize it while you're on that path.
But I think that you would know after coming to faith that you would know that it was a dark path.
100%.
Which, wow, that's fascinating that we would say this tonight. only because as I was driving over tonight for this, I thought to myself, so if people are walking in darkness, when they first see the light, is it blinding? You know, or is it a soft thing that then draws them to it? You know, because it's like we talk about being in darkness, that being like going through things without Jesus can be a very dark place to go.
I don't think it, just personal experience coming back to my faith and things like that, I don't think it hit me like, whoa, there it is. I think over time, I mean, Chris and I've had conversations about this too, of just being like, things seem so simple and happier and like we're in better, like this is all, life seems better. And I don't think it just happened overnight. I think we realized it going back in. But I grew up having knowledge of some things. So I'm curious for the people who have none of this. Is that blinding to them like that? Like you're saying, like if they haven't to come into it, or I don't know.
I think I wonder if it maybe depends on how it is that they come into it. So like, you know, if you come into it and you're like, basically like somebody hit you over the head with a Bible.
Oh,
that's not what I call being coming into the light in a positive way.
There's
some
people I'm like
there are. But if you come into it in such a way though that it's a gentle kind of a thing, because either one, people realize, you know, that's not going to work, hitting somebody over the head. I think that honestly for some people it does work.
Oh, 100%.
I think that there are people that it's like God knows what it is that they need at that moment in order to know. And so he will use whatever it is that he has to. But there are some people that it's like they're coming in on a gentle side of it.
They can tip their toes in and slowly walk in.
Have you ever met anybody that's never been exposed to the Bible? Like at all?
Sorry,
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, and this is, I don't mean to joke, it's just a friend of mine, but it's like, no, she just comes from a different background, and they do out of a Bible, but they have another book they like to read out of, that she tries to tell me, oh, we don't stay in that, but that came to mind, but I'm like, no, you still had the Bible. I don't think I've ever come across anyone who's like, I don't even know who Jesus is. Who's Jesus?
It's fascinating.
Is it? Have you met someone who's like, who's Jesus?
So no, well, basically, kind of, sort of. There was, I don't know that at this particular point in my life when this happened, I don't think I'd ever met anybody that was completely and totally unfamiliar with the Bible, any aspect of it whatsoever. And I met this young man when we were doing a Bible study in our home when we were overseas. And it was so funny because he was sitting next to me, such a cutie pie. He was sitting next to me, and Jeff was talking about something like, oh my goodness, what was he talking about? Maybe like Revelation or something like that. Ooh. Which is like, for anybody that's never heard the Bible, coming into Revelation is like, what?
Well, even for, I don't know enough, and I'm like, we're doing Genesis right now, and I'm like, can we go to Revelation next? Like,
so anyway, so he's sitting next to me, and he leans over, and he's like, whatever it was. And I said, I mean, I was just kind of like, because it wasn't necessarily like something that was like totally revelation. Like it was something that had to do with other stuff. And so I was leaning over and I was explaining it to him. And then Jeff would go on teaching, and then he'd lean over and go, what is the, and so he and I are like having these side conversations. Jeff was so irritated. He was like, what is going on? It's afterwards.
Deidre, stop talking.
And I said, he's never opened a Bible.
Oh.
And I was just like, I was so thrilled with this, because if you were going to open a Bible for the first time, truly, no matter whether it was me or anyone else, right? But only because he came that night, we were already in Revelation, okay? So, but to be able to sit next to somebody who was just willing to just open the Bible and to tell you this was such a blessing for me, right? To see this, but also too for him. So it's like, so anyway, so
I'm glad he asked you questions.
What do you do if you haven't had experience with the Bible? What do you do if you have no experience with faith? What do you do if you don't know who Jesus is? You know? What would you do? It's like even hard to even imagine if you like grow up in it.
Because I feel like little things. I mean, there's movies out for kids. Like there's movies about Moses that
he had actually seen some VeggieTale movies.
Oh, okay.
So, but still, the VeggieTales. It's a pretty loose translation.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, we went like over the rabbit hill and down the rabbit hole.
Yes.
And over the trail or next to the trail. But anyway, so if you don't know Jesus, then I would highly recommend that you read one of the Gospels. Mm-hmm. Matthew is a great place. If you like love, John is a great place. Mm-hmm. If you're connected with I don't know how you would describe Luke, like more of a thinker kind of, he was a physician, so that kind of gives you an idea. Read Luke. And then Mark, I think, is actually one of the most concise Gospels, I think, to read. So, but read the stories of Jesus, because the stories of Jesus is where you need to start, because probably the rest of the Bible would not make sense unless you're starting with that. Also, too, my guess is you probably know somebody who knows Jesus and ask them who he is. Yeah. So, and one of the other things, I'm going to put in a shameless plug for this. One of the other things is that there's a course that's called Alpha. And many churches run it, and it's a great place to come and ask questions and to share your perspective without any judgment.
Without any. Chris and I took that. Yeah, we did Alpha, and we were back at the church. We were still doing our I don't know what we believe type thing. Yeah. I mean, we always had that fear in the back of our mind of I don't know, things. No, what if we say
what is going to be required of me?
Yeah, yeah. But Alpha was great because we pushed on things, and it was a very comfortable space. Yeah.
So, and if you're interested in that, if you need more information, leave a comment. Yeah. We'll go ahead and get back with you on that. So
for sure. But anyways, back to
the Bible.
To the Bible.
Holy chit chat.
Holy chit chat.
Okay, so verse 19, but when Herod died, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother, and go into the land of Israel."
Do you think this was at night again? Or do you think this one's a little okay?
Well, was it a dream? Could he be daydreaming?
He could be. Office Space. Listen, my girls.
Could be napping and taking, I've had a dream when I've napped before. Yeah. So for those who sought the child's life are dead. So that's why he can go back. So Joseph got up, took the child and his mother, and came into the land of Israel. But when he heard that Archelaus was reigning over Judea in place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there. So
I would too. This is this guy's kid.
Right. And it's
you raised, which I'm saying, I know we're, raised differently, not saying that he's going to be like his father, but man.
Well, I think it's interesting because he's concerned about this, right? And so obviously,
a father should be concerned, right?
Right. And I would think that God must have known that he was concerned about this, right? Because it then says, then after being warned by God in a dream, he left for the regions of Galilee and came and lived in a city called Nazareth. This was to fulfill what was spoken through the prophets. He shall be called a Nazarene. So I find that interesting. It's Joseph he's obedient, right, to the word of God. He still has his concerns.
Any man would, especially for his family, his wife, and his child.
I think so too. And then yet he is warned again in another dream. And he goes into Galilee and lives in a city called Nazareth so that yet another prophecy can be fulfilled about who Jesus was.
That is so many prophecies.
It is.
In the first 2 chapters of Matthew.
Yes.
And this is what I love about Matthew. Matthew just gives it to you.
He does.
Here it is.
It's wonderful. I'm making myself a note because in regards to the prophecy, there are specific messianic prophecies. And so these are things that Jewish people would be looking for in a Messiah. I just find that fascinating. And I want to go back and take a look at that, which is why I made myself a note on that. So that brings us to the end of chapter 2.
It does.
Can you believe that?
Can't believe that. Can't believe that.
So
some juicy stuff.
So we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna wrap up chapter 2.
Yep. Make sure to follow and subscribe.
Yes.
And come back to. Oh, I'm excited. Chapter 3. John the Baptist.
I love it.
I love it.
Thanks for listening.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
I like John the Baptist.